What's up guys, it's Will here, back again, and today I'm here to excitedly review the Hot Toys Black Panther original suit. Guys, before we get started, I got my Hot Toys Black Panther from Comic Concepts. There is a link in the description below if you'd like to check out Comic Concepts. Lots of great Hot Toys statues, other collectibles that you're gonna wanna see. That said, let's get right into it. All right, guys, let's get to the first major part of this video, the Unbox and Chill segment. Guys, super excited to be unboxing this one today. We got Black Panther from Hot Toys. You can see the original box art here from Hot Toys. A lot of stuff on the back about sort of licensing and, acknowledgements and things along those lines. A lot of the normal stuff. This is a really cool box overall. I do really like the style of it. It really gets you in the mood to unbox a Hot Toy, and it gets you excited that it's Black Panther. Guys, I've been so excited for this figure. I've been waiting for this one. I had the original Civil War one. I bought it forever ago from another collector, and at some point I was like, you know what, this new one, it is better. I'm going to trade in the old one. I'm going to sell it to another collector who can enjoy it more, and I'm going to go ahead and get this new one. That said, guys, let's unbox this boy because I am super excited. This has been one of my most anticipated. I have the Eric Killmonger. I absolutely love it. I've been really excited to get the T'Challa just because, yeah, he's one of my favorite characters. He was an iconic part of the MCU, and he is going to be sorely missed, I can tell you that much. And first impressions, let's see here. Let's see. Very positive. Boys, I am very excited with this Black Panther. I think this looks fantastic out of the box. The tailoring is better than the original. Definitely the proportions are a little bit better. A lot of this figure just screams higher quality than the original. The original was great for its time. It was a great figure from the Civil War line, which became a very coveted line. But overall, this is a big improvement from the original. I will say this shield here that they've given you with sort of this pole of sorts, this plastic pole. Look, he used this in the film, but he was never actually wearing the Black Panther suit while he used this. He was doing the ritual fights and sort of having challenge for the Black Panther line and stuff like that. And he used this in those scenes, and Hot Toys was like, you know what? We're going to give it to you because we need to put accessories with this guy because otherwise we're not going to be able to charge $285. So they gave you a little plastic shield, which could be useful, but I'm probably never going to use it. You can see a blade here. This is something that I don't even know if he did use this in the film actually, but I know Killmonger was using blades. When he and Killmonger fought, I actually think he did use this blade. So yeah, it's something that was in the film, but again, not when he was ever wearing the Black Panther suit. This original suit that was originally seen in Civil War and then seen at the beginning of the Black Panther film, the solo film. So yeah, it's definitely not an accessory that I'm going to find myself using with this Black Panther too frequent, although it does look cool. Here's the mask, again, what he wore sort of in the ritual combat scenes. That's pretty much all they could include with this suit because it's just, yeah, there's not much else to include with him besides hands and claws and such. So this is cool. It slides over the head sculpt, but more on that later. The base, I love this base. It's a standard crotch grabber, but I really like the hexagonal design on it and of course the printed logo there. I think this goes really well with the Killmonger figure. I think this was a nice, simple choice for the base, so I'm happy with it overall. A normal crotch grabber pegs into the stand per usual. Crotch grabber as usual, nothing new there. And here's the head sculpt. This has been a little bit divisive. Now that I have this head sculpt in hand, maybe it's not quite as bad as I originally envisioned, but it's still not great. This is not the best head sculpt that Hot Toys has done by any stretch. I still don't feel this really looks like Chadwick that much. This is not going to be a head sculpt that I plan on using. I just think it's off. I think doesn't really look like Chadwick. I mean, to a degree, a little bit. I don't think it's awful, but it's definitely not my favorite by any stretch. Here's the hands here. You can see they have a really nice paint texture to them. You can see there's like sort of little black, like, I don't know if they're like maybe rectangles or something on the gloves and the inside there. There's a nice little sort of printed design. I think this is great. And the paint apps are really, really good on these. Just be careful not to scratch them. The paint can come off, so you do want to be careful. Here's an overview of all the accessories. Really not a whole lot to touch on here. You can see the shield, the blade there. You got the base, the hands that are swappable to obviously the figure. And of course the mask that slides over the head sculpt that really doesn't fit that nicely. But again, here's the base. I absolutely love it. I think this is a simple, effective base. I'm a base guy. I think you have to use them. Here's how the head sculpt slides under the mask. It's all, it's not an actual fabric mask. It's plastic, so it's all sculpted. It slides on, but for me, it never would slide on perfectly flush without feeling like I was gonna scratch the paint head sculpt. I think you will scratch the paint if you're not careful, so I do want you guys to be very careful with that. When looking at the shield, one of the actual straps is glued on to the back and one is loose, so you can slide the arm through and slide the hand on. I'm never going to be using it. There's the hand holding the blade, so you could put T'Challa with that if you wanted. Overall, I'm gonna give the accessories 3.5 stars out of 5. We got a new segment on this channel, guys. Really excited. We're gonna cover articulation next. And yeah, overall, I mean, articulation on this guy is not fantastic. I think you can move him to a degree, but I don't think there's a ton of range here. You can see the shoulders go up pretty high. They go up to a point where you can probably do a decent amount. But again, with the material here that's being used, this is something where you're not gonna wanna leave this figure posed in a dynamic way long-term, because you are gonna risk creasing and overall damage. And you can see here, the legs will bend a pretty good amount here. You can see the knees can bend pretty much the full way there. You can put him in a lot of different poses, but you can see how it starts to bunches up the suit. Even that little sort of crotch grab in the middle section there. I'm gonna give a 3.5 for articulation. I think he moves well enough, but nothing crazy. So, guys, if we're looking at the overall presence of this figure, I think that's a huge thing here. But before we get to that, I want to talk about the character of T'Challa, because the character of T'Challa, I think, is super, super amazing, honestly. I think he's one of the best characters in the MCU. He's a legend character in my eyes, and he was one that I knew I needed to have in my collection, and this suit I've always preferred to the original. So as far as T'Challa goes, the character himself, I think this is a character that most Marvel fans are going to find that they need in their collection. Whether you have Killmonger, whether you have Shuri or not, T'Challa is a legend, bro. Whether he passed away or not, T'Challa was amazing. So to me, this character is a 5 out of 5. T'Challa is, again, a legend icon of the MCU. I think he's integral to an MCU collection. So guys, now if we're looking at the overall presence of the figure, I think that's a huge part of why people buy figures in the first place. What presence does this figure have on the shelf? I think it has a lot. I think this figure absolutely nails the proportions. It just looks like a badass fucking superhero cat. I think that's really what T'Challa is at the end of the day. And I think he has also an amazing story to him, but I think this figure has a lot of presence on the shelf. It looks cool. It has a nice black color scheme. You can see here mixed in with my other Marvel figures. It blends in really nicely. The detailing on the suit is just incredible. It's actually kind of sharp with the necklace, and then with the little like the forearm guards, those are actually pretty sharp. So I'm gonna give this figure a 4 out of 5 on presence. It's not quite as presence commanding as a Carnage, but it's still pretty damn cool. That said, guys, we have one more thing to go over, and that is price. This boy retails for $285. I would say that overall in today's market, that is pretty reasonable. It is pretty light on accessories, so I would say if you're a big accessorizer as far as collecting goes, that, you know, there's not a ton you can do with him, but there's really not that much you need to do. You know, he never really had that many accessories in Civil War or in the Black Panther film. So I would say, yeah, I mean, there's really not that much that you need to do. Put him on the shelf. He has a ton of presence just standing there with his claws out. I think this guy can handle more than his weight in terms of bringing an iconic character and display and presence to your shelf. So to me, for $285, I think that's worth it. The head sculpt is disappointing, I'm not gonna lie. So the head sculpt really is something that I wouldn't plan to use personally, but overall, I think the price is justified based on today's current market value. So I'm gonna say, let's give it a 4 out of 5 on price. I would say if the head sculpt were a little bit better, this would probably be a 5, maybe a little more accessories, but overall, I think it's a really good figure, and it's well done, and I do think that it delivers in a lot of ways. So yeah, the suit, guys, look at the detailing on the suit. It is fantastic. There is so much detail in this suit and in this costume. This was the perfect Black Panther costume. I like the one from the original Solo film. However, this one really just hits different. That said, guys, let's recap everything here. You can see here the overall scoring for this figure, the accessories, we're gonna give this one a 3.5 out of 5. The articulation, we're gonna give a 3.5 out of 5. The character of T'Challa himself is phenomenal. He is an icon. He is a 5 out of 5. The presence on the shelf, we're gonna give this boy a 4 out of 5. I would say that overall he has a lot of presence. The black and the contrast and sort of elements of gray here and there have a little bit of detailing there that I think is really, really cool on the shelf, and it really pops. That said, I think the price, $285 with the head sculpt and sort of the minimal accessories, I'm gonna say overall that's a pretty good value. It's not the best value I've ever seen in collecting. However, I think it's pretty solid and it gets a 4. Overall, we're gonna give this guy a final score of 4 out of 5 stars. I am very, very happy to have him in my collection. I think he is an amazing figure. And if you love Black Panther, I would highly recommend that you pick him up. Again, guys, keep your expectations in check as far as the head sculpt is concerned. I don't think it's the best, but the suit itself and the mask, damn, it is good. Just be careful with the wrist pegs. When you remove the hands, try to keep the wrist peg in the arm, because if you don't, then you're gonna have to slide the sleeve all the way up as far as it will go. And then from there, you have to slide that wrist peg in there. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass. But guys, it is an amazing figure once you get everything together and everything situated. Guys, the detailing is just insane. Again, the accessories are minimal. However, it's not the end of the world because the figure itself is really the draw here, and I think it is phenomenal. So, guys, I would highly recommend you check it out. I am very happy with this one. This guy will be staying in my collection for a very long time. I love my T'Challa. That said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and you're the best. I will catch you in the next one. Peace out. See ya later. Got my heart no bed. Break you in, then